Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oli. If this is your first time, then welcome, and if it's not, then welcome back. So today's video is going to be about something that is happening to me literally right now as we speak, and that is namely to do with stress flare-ups, or flare-ups to do with stress. And when I say stress, I mean sort of more acute stress, so things like if you have a scary event coming up, or you're nervous about something, or you have a particularly stressful week at work. I'm not talking about chronic stress, which is when you have sort of when you're in a constant state of stress because of your lifestyle. That is a completely separate issue and something that definitely needs addressing, but possibly in a different video. No, so today I'm going to be talking about the fact that yesterday I had a pretty intense, stressful presentation that I had to do for work. And I've been nervous about it for a few days or maybe even a week, and I could feel my skin sort of starting to get a little bit, I don't know, just not quite right the days leading up to it. And just a day or two ago, I noticed that I had quite a big flare-up on my neck. So I don't know if you can see, but my neck is a lot more red than it normally would be. And also I can sort of feel that my body is sort of slightly stressed, and you know when you have the kind of like giddy butterflies in your stomach, and you know there's a whole bunch of different cortisol and stress hormones going around in your body. So the reason that stress is so bad for your skin is because firstly it releases cortisol, and cortisol is pro-inflammatory, as in it causes inflammation. It also messes up with immune function, and secondly stress actually weakens the skin barrier. So this combination is not great for people who are prone to eczema like me. So I thought I'd tell you about the different things that I do now that the stressful event is over, and I am now sort of doing more damage control. The first thing you need to do is just kind of accept that your skin is going to be not great, and if you're in like a healing process, it might take a little bit of a turn for the worst, or it might just stay the same as it is if it's already pretty inflamed. But either way, I think the best thing to do is just to accept it's going to happen and don't freak out about it. I think you'll make it even worse if you freak out about it and you stress because you're stressing. Just accept that's going to happen and just kind of do everything you can of these steps that I'm going to explain to you now, which hopefully should help to reduce the amount of damage that this stress can potentially do. So yeah, that's just tip number one. Accept that you're a little bit stressed. It's not going to last forever. You will, get through your stressful event, whatever it is, and then you can start moving on and continue on to sort of getting your skin into a good, healthy state again. And it honestly, in the long term, it really won't make much of a difference. So the second thing I want to talk about and sort of mention as a tip is de-stressing techniques. So things like meditation or just chilling out and reading books and that kind of thing. If I'm totally honest, these kind of things don't really work that well for me, because when I'm nervous or if I'm stressed about something, I'm going to be stressed, and no amount of meditation can really distract me. I get very like, oh my god, like I can work myself up quite a lot. So I think the acceptance in tip number one is almost part of the de-stressing, because it has the same sort of concept in meditation, that you sort of become more objective of your own feelings and that sort of thing, and try not to react to your feelings. A lot of people find that meditation is so helpful, so I would actually really recommend trying it out. Just downloading a mindfulness app or a guided meditation app or something like that, and it could really help you. The third thing is to just look at your diet. So if you're like me, I always tend to crave a lot of sugary foods and very carbohydrate rich foods, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just about choosing what types of sugars and what types of carbohydrates that you go for, because there are certain types of sugars and carbohydrates that are definitely going to make it worse. So me personally, I avoid things that have very refined sugar. So obviously like sweets and chocolates and things like that. These are not the kind of sugars that I go for when I have like that stress craving. I go for things like more dried fruit, or just fruit on its own, or sometimes I might have like a cup of tea with a bit more sugar than I normally would have. But again, that tiny little teaspoon is better than having like a big chocolate bar or something, or whatever it is that you're craving. And then in terms of the carbohydrates, again, just stick to your sort of whole slow release carbohydrates. So lots of brown grains if you're going to have grains, or lots of good natural carbohydrates, so sweet potatoes, butternut squashes, those kind of foods. Just satisfy your cravings, definitely do, because I think if you resist your cravings, you're just going to overcompensate later down the line. Definitely don't try and restrict your cravings, because I I personally just don't find restricting any kind of cravings help. It's just about sort of choosing things that are better for you rather than worse for you and still satisfy the cravings. Another thing which will definitely make your stress worse is caffeine. I know, again, if you're a student and you really need your caffeine because you're studying really hard at night, then again, I would go for things like tea over coffee, and because overconsumption of caffeine is definitely going to put your state into sort of a higher levels of stress, release more cortisol, and it's just not going to be very good for you. Normally when you're kind of stressing and nervous anyway, you have quite a lot of adrenaline running through your body, so you shouldn't really need that much caffeine, and I think that caffeine does kind of make your skin worse as well. I gave up caffeine a long time ago, actually not initially for my skin, but just because I had really bad sleep problems back in the day. And now whenever I have caffeine, I can really feel the effects on my body. Like, I really feel that it's got that kind of sort of stressful physical effect on your body. So I think definitely try and minimize the caffeine if you can. Again, another tip for sort of reducing cravings is by maybe having some more healthy fats. Really think about having fats and proteins in your diet. And possibly, just like I said, some more carbohydrates, but more sort of the slow release, very natural carbohydrates, and hopefully this should help to reduce the cravings that you have. The next thing I like to do is have a really nice, long sea salt bath. So the sea salt that I use is this dead sea salt, and I find that this was really, really helpful when I had really, really inflamed skin in general. I actually don't tend to have a bath during the actual stressful period because in my head I feel like I can't justify giving myself the time off to have a bath, which is actually slightly ridiculous, so don't listen to me in that sense. Definitely go have a bath if you want to have one. But I find just having a whole bunch of this in a nice bath with a little dash of your favourite oil, so I use either jojoba oil or carrot oil, and just have a really nice soak in that, and I find that that is very, very cleansing and very soothing for quite sort of red, itchy skin. The best thing you can do is if you have it before bed, so lie in the bath for as long as it kind of soaks into your skin, so I would say at least 20 minutes maybe, and then when you come out, sort of pat yourself dry. I don't put anything else on after that. I just like to sort of let the sea salt do its thing, and then I go to bed, and when I wake up in the morning, my skin always feels really nice and really soothed, and I think that is one of my favourite things to do when my skin is feeling itchy and inflamed. And speaking of sleep, this leads me on to my final point, which is to sleep as much as you can. And I know sometimes when you're stressed it's hard to sleep, but once your stress is over, then I would say give yourself a nice big lie-in if you can, or go to bed early if that's what you need to do in order to give yourself the extra hours of sleep, because I think sleep is really, really important for reparation. And once you have your sort of stressful event over, you'll find it doesn't take very much time at all for the sort of the cortisol and the adrenaline to kind of calm down. So you should feel that your body kind of gets back to where it was as soon as your stressor is over, and as soon as you start doing all these different tips to kind of, like I said, minimize the amount of damage that the stress can potentially have on your skin. So I had my sea salt bath today, and already my skin is feeling a lot nicer. I'm obviously not feeling stressed anymore, otherwise I would not be making videos. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was informative for anyone else who's potentially going through a similar little stress flare up like I do. This is nothing to how they used to be. Last year when I was a student, I was stressed pretty much every single week because we had exams all the time, and my skin was terrible, really, really bad. I mean, you've seen some of my update videos, so you can see how bad it was. But yeah, so stress really, really does have an effect. And so I hope this was helpful. I hope these tips do you well. If you have any questions, then please do leave a comment down below. If you want me to make any videos on anything else, then also comment down below. And in the meantime, please like and please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. Bye bye.